Good morning and welcome to Poem Physics 365. Physics every single day of the year. Physics past, present, and future. The podcast doors are closing.
Alright, friends, hello and welcome to this 22nd of January 2016 Friday. And what do I have for you today in Poem Physics 365? We have, on this day in physics, the 22nd of January 1997, Lottie Williams becomes the first person to cross paths with a piece of falling space vehicle debris on a walk at 3 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What? She sees overhead what she believes to be a meteor, a bright glowing object in the sky. Sometime later, she gets struck in the shoulder by a 6-inch piece of metal. It is believed to be the debris of a Delta II rocket which had burned up in Earth's atmosphere earlier that night. So, that's what's going on this day in physics, 1997. And let's move right along to the word of the day, which is electron, a fundamental particle, meaning that it does not break down into any other particles. It is one of 3 types of particles which make up all atoms of matter: protons, neutrons, and electrons. As stated before, whereas protons and neutrons are made of up and down quarks, electrons do not break down into anything else. They can be modeled as orbiting the protons and neutrons, which make up the nucleus of the atom. The distance of the electron's orbit can be thought of as follows. If an electron was to orbit circularly around the very highest seats of a football stadium, the nucleus would be a quarter on the 50-yard line. We know very well in 2016 that electrons don't actually orbit the nucleus of an atom, the way the Earth orbits the Sun. Instead, electrons don't really have a definite position of any sort. Rather, they have probability densities, places where they are most likely to be, were you to measure their position. Hydrogen has a single electron orbiting a single proton. This makes the overall charge of the atom neutral, because the electron's charge exactly opposes the charge of a proton. As we look at atoms with more and more protons, generally we find atoms with more and more electrons. These electrons all orbit the nucleus, but the shape of the probability densities changes based on how many electrons there are. They actually group together in clusters with different radiuses and shapes of their probability densities. These are called orbital shells. So that is a very small introduction to what an electron is. It has a negative charge, orbits the atom, has probability densities. So yeah, electron. Maybe we'll circle around to more electron stuff in the future. But let's dig into our killer resource. So sticking with the topic of today, we have hydrogen atom orbitals. A very excellent poster with all the different electron orbitals or shells. You can see the different shapes that the orbitals take as you add more and more electrons. So do head on over to the blog, pwnphysics.blogspot.com. And yeah, I think that's going to do it, guys. All right, I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care.
The pod bay doors are reopening. You may now resume normal life functions.